that this is the way you treat your son.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can serve a God like that.
Drugs, women, guns, like all those things. We out here in the streets.
I looked down at my hands and it was blood smudged on my hand.
I'm down that road another 10 years in that darkness until I get to a point where I'm suicidal.
And she said, that's the exact dream your father had when God called him in the ministry.
Where did it start for you, Tim? Your story. Where did that begin for you?
Yeah, so when I was 12 years old, my dad got terminally ill with throat cancer.
Your father was a pastor.
He was a pastor. Him and my mom were pastors.
Of an influential church in North Carolina.
Yeah. Of a pretty influential church.
Yeah.
At 12 years old, he gets terminally ill. He's given 2 weeks to live.
Mm-hmm.
And it completely turns my world upside down.
Yeah, man.
My hero, who I never saw do anything wrong. I never saw my father raise his voice.
Yeah.
I never saw him do anything that was immoral or contrary to, sound biblical lifestyle and just a spirit led living.
Yeah.
And I saw him fight for his life.
Yeah.
He was given an opportunity to have an experimental surgery where they cut him from the back of one ear, opened up his throat, and left an incision on the other side.
Yeah.
And when they did that, they removed a tumor from his throat the size of a chipmunk. And when they removed the tumor, they removed a quarter of his tongue, so he's no longer able to eat, drink, or swallow. He's fed through a G-tube for the remainder of his life. And so me having faith built off of the backs of my mom and dad, I lost complete faith in God.
Yeah.
And my question to God at the time, really struggling, was, God, if this is the way you treat your servant, if this is the way you treat your son, I don't know if I can serve a God like that.
I think a lot of people struggle with that.
Absolutely.
They struggle with, how does a loving God allow suffering like that?
What I came to learn, though, is my faith wasn't in someone, my faith was in something.
Yeah.
And my faith anchored on the fact that my dad deserved healing in the earth because I thought he did.
Yeah.
And that's a fleeting faith.
Yeah.
And as a result of the surgery, as a result of the treatment, chemotherapy, radiation, bro, just saw him dwindle down. He was a big guy in stature, 6'5", about 270 before he got sick. Just saw him become a skeleton, a shell of himself, lost all of his hair, lost tremendous weight, fought for his life, could no longer eat, but I never saw his faith waver. I never saw his love waver for people. I never saw his tenacity, his drive waver for the things of God. And so I'm fighting for my faith, and I'm out in the streets, and I'm wilding out, and I'm doing everything contrary to what I've seen them do.
Yeah.
Just because I wanted to prove to God that I couldn't be used by him.
Was you mad at God?
I was furious. I was upset. I never got to the place where I doubted God, never doubted his existence.
Yeah.
But I doubted his goodness. And I doubt that he was good to me.
So that sent you out into the streets.
Sent me to the streets, sent me living a lifestyle that was everything but godliness and a reflection of Jesus Christ, and really wanted to make God upset with me.
Yeah.
Because I felt upset with God. And the thing, bro, that I remember so vividly, my mom and my dad, they never, ever, ever condemned me. They loved me.
Unconditional.
Even
while you was in the street.
Even while I was out in the streets. My mom, she loved me. My father, he loved me unconditionally. And it drew me back to the heart of the Father.
Yeah.
And so my dad dies in 2002, the day after my 18th birthday.
Yeah.
He sits me down on my 18th birthday, bro, and he prophesies over me. He speaks life into me. He tells me everything that I would do that I was not doing at the moment.
Yeah.
And for 5 hours, bro, he sits down with me, just like we're 5 hours, just like we're sitting there right now. He talks to me. He places his hand on my leg after he gets finished. Says, I love you. He goes upstairs to his room. 2 a.m. that following morning, my mom knocks on my door. He's gone. He's gone.
Transitions just like that.
That's it.
Do you remember everything he said to you before he passed?
I don't. And I regret it. But that conversation and my regret for not leaning into that conversation shapes the way I have conversations today.
But you were still out in the street during that time.
Still out there.
Still wilding out. Yeah. And I know some of the stuff you can't really talk about on camera because of
everything. The implications of
cases and stuff.
And the implications.
But you was far out there. I think a lot of people don't know your story. Obviously, I know a little bit of your story. Yeah. But you was far out there in them streets.
Far out there.
Wilding out. All the things.
Everything you can imagine.
All the things.
Everything from fast life, women, money, drugs,
shootouts,
everything you can imagine.
Yeah.
And so I went off to college my freshman year, and I went to Hampton University. And in my apartment, bro, I went to sleep And I thought that I woke up.
Yeah.
And when I woke up, I was standing in front of a sea full of people. And when I noticed how many people it was, I looked down at my hands and it was blood smudged on my hands. And I heard the voice of God for the first time say to me, the longer you run from what I've called you to do,
Jesus, man.
everyone that you could have influenced,
Jesus,
their blood will be held to your account.
Jesus, man.
And I woke up immediately. I was just freaked out of my mind. 3 o'clock in the morning, I called my mom.
How old was you at the time?
I was 18.
18.
Yeah. I called my mom. Hey, I had this dream. She said, explain it to me. So I explained it to her in great detail. And I thought she was like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. And she started laughing. I was like, what the heck are you laughing at? And she said, that's the exact dream your father had when God called him in the ministry. And I left Hampton University that week, transferred to Bible college.
Yeah.
Went to Bible college in Detroit, Michigan. Finished up there. Moved back to North Carolina.
Yeah.
Right outside of Durham.
Yeah.
Started pastoring. And that's been 21 years.
21 years. You know, it's crazy too, man, because even for the time you and I've had a relationship, some of those parts of your story, I didn't even know, you know. But even as I listen to you talk, I see some semblance between our stories that I didn't pick up on before, you know, because I remember when you and I was in Florida and we was having conversations about your past, there was some details you never told me. And I'm looking at some of those details and I'm seeing some of the semblance in our stories and how God divinely brought us together. Like even we sitting right here right now, bro, you know, we in Manhattan, we in the city, you know, and all these things. And I never knew about your dream, but something similar happened to me when I was 12. My mother and father put me like on a fast, right? They put me on a fast for like a week. I'm like, this is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm 12. Nah, a 12-year-old fool. You know what I'm saying? Like, are you like so fast? Like, what is this? No, I never told you this term. Fast. Like, put me on a fast. Like, no, what is this? So I'm drinking water and crackers for a week. Like, yo, this is crazy. You know what I'm saying? And my mother put me on a fast, right? But I never forget during this fast. I never told you this, bro. It came out a 12-year-old fasting, bro. Like, bro, at 12. You know, like, yo, stop playing. And every day I'm used to eating pork fried rice and chicken wings, bro. Like, I'm from Queens, bro. Like, we eat Chinese food, bro. Like, decent food. Like, yo, this is, like, is this abuse? Like, bro, I'm thinking, like, this is abusive, bro. That's crazy. But I never told you this, man. But during that week, true story, during that week, I had a dream. And in the dream, I saw myself walking up a mountain and I was wearing like a black and red outfit. And I was walking up this mountain and I seen this line of people following me up this mountain all the way to the top, right? Obviously, I don't understand this dream. I don't understand this vision. And I tell my mom and she laughs. It's crazy. Isn't that crazy, right? I tell my mom and she laughs. And I will learn later that in her heart, she felt that was God showing me that I would be doing what I'm doing right now. Wow. And leading people into the kingdom. I didn't know that, right? And I didn't know that, but I'm walking up this mountain. There's people following me up this mountain. And my mom, she sees, okay, God has spoken to my son for the first time. Although he does not understand, he does not fully grasp the concept of what's happening, God has spoken to my child. And I think for her, she had a peace in her heart because my mother had a damaged cervix. And when she came to the country, the doctors told her she would never be able to have children, ever. But my mother and my father were people of faith. Yeah. And my mother told me how my father laid out the scriptures. They laid their hands on the prayers of Hannah. And she began to cry out the prayers of Hannah. Like, Lord, if you give me a son, I will give him back to you. Right. And so I don't learn that story till later. So when she puts together how God miraculously gave her this son, and then this dream that I have at 12 years of age, for her, like the pieces come together like, okay, God, you're talking to my son. He does not know, but you're talking to him. Just like, you know, there's people watching this podcast right now, you know, and they look over their shoulder, they can see the goodness of God at different points in their life. They can see the grace of God at different points in their life. They can see the mercy of God at different points in their life. And when we look back, he gets glory out of some of that story, right? And so, but I'm in these streets. You know, I feel like my environment around me was so strong. So in these streets, man, from the age of 12, all the things, same thing. Like you doing that in the South, I'm up here doing the north. We don't know each other, but we wilding out. Right? Like we out here banging, right? You know, all the things, man. All the things that come with the street life, drugs, women, guns, like all those things. We out here in the streets. And I was in a lot of legal trouble. I was in a lot of legal trouble. Had got locked up twice in 6 months. My parents did what they had to do to get me out of New York, right? And that's how I ended up in the South. I went to North Carolina Central University, ended up in the South. That's how I ended up in your neck of the woods, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, got pushed out of New York because of legal trouble, end up in the South. But when I get there, I meet a group of dudes who are from New York, far more ruthless than I was. I mean, these dudes terrorizing all of Durham, bro. Like, bro, you from those parts. You know those parts, man. They terrorizing all of Durham. And I'm in the streets with those dudes. And then that life, I'm down that road another 10 years in that darkness until I get to a point I'm suicidal. And by this point, I got like all the trappings of worldly success, bro. You know, I got luxury car, banging girlfriend, dope apartment, dope furniture. I got street cred, money, all of that. But I'm empty, Tim. Right? I am so empty. I know that something is missing, but I don't know what it is. Right? And I remember, like just being suicidal twice. One time, shotgun, bottle of Hennessy. And God sent someone to the house who used to twist my locks. I had locks like you, bro. Used to twist my locks. Who kind of, with no words, she talked me off that ledge. She came to visit me that night. I'm weeping. Got the shotgun on my lap, bottle of Hennessy on the floor. She comes to visit me that night. My door's unlocked by the grace of God. She comes through the door, I'll never forget. She sits down on the floor. She holds my hand. We cry. She talks me off the ledge with no words. And just like a couple months after that, man, Lena and I move into an apartment. We do everything wrong. She gets into a car crash. She comes back to the apartment. She puts on gospel music. She's thanking God that she wasn't injured in this car crash. She's lifting her hands. It's the first time in my life I ever heard gospel music. I crawl into her bathroom. I started yelling at God. I'm thinking to myself, whatever she had, I want that, right? I want that. And yelling at God in that bathroom, God reveals himself to me in that bathroom. God comes and he rescues me in that bathroom. That's how I come into the kingdom out of these streets, you know. And so that conversion happens for me in North Carolina, where you from, in that neck of the woods, you know. And so it's like God brought me out of these streets into the kingdom the same way he brought you out of those streets into the kingdom. Yeah. And so even when you and I sit here and we talk about this, right, I see all these semblance in our story of how we had believing parents, but we had issues with God ourselves. But God showed us mercy and he showed us grace. And he was actually protecting us while he was out there. You know, absolutely. I think about like how you've been shot. Telling you. You know, I think about the bullets that grazed me. You know, so when we look back on it, it's like God preserved you and I. He preserved you. He preserved me. You know, and so I even think about just the name of this podcast, Street Preachers Podcast. I think it's fitting. Yeah. Right, for what God has done in our lives. Wouldn't you agree? Absolutely.